Yo, what's good, Spirit Squad? So, we're going to take a look at an Azorius list, and, surprise, surprise, Azorius Spirits on this channel, right? But this is a list that I just won an RCQ with this last weekend. So, see a bunch of y'all in Atlanta, but this list is going to address what I think the format's currently doing. So, I've taken out the slip out the backs that were in the main previously, and I've replaced them with Spell Pierce. And a lot of lists were playing things like Catilda in the main. I have not only moved Catilda to the sideboard, but I've also included a second one of those. Instead, I'm playing 2 copies of Brazen Borrower in the main, and this is going to be an attempt to address a lot of the things like Mayhem Devil from the Racksack lists, but also Shark Typhoon tokens, because there are a lot of the blue-white Lotus Field decks running around. Speaking of, Explorer Anthology has just been released, which means Thespian Stage does exist on Arena now. That means that, just like Paper, the more popular version of blue-white control is usually going to be the blue-white Lotus Field deck, not the Supreme Verdict version. And that's another point to us taking out the slip out the backs in favor of Spell Pierces, because now we want to counter things like Teferis, Memory Deluges, and all of the other big mana threats from that deck, rather than trying to aggressively play around Supreme Verdict. Another big thing is that a lot of the pieces for things like Boros Pia have been released now that Chain to the Rocks is a card that exists on Arena. That is a new inclusion to the format, so we're getting closer and closer to real Pioneer. An upside to not having to deal with all of the true threats in Pioneer, though, is the fact that there are still no delve spells on Arena, which means that we don't really have to hedge as hard for Phoenix as we would in Paper Magic. But I am still playing 3 copies of Surge of Salvation in the board here, just like I am in Paper. To that effect, let's go over the sideboard. We've got 4 copies of Portable Hole, 2 copies of Invasion of Gobakan, got all 4 copies of Wedding Announcement. Both Rakdos Midrange and Racksack exist in their full capacity on Arena. The 2 Catildas that we talked about, and I've already mentioned the 3 Surge of Salvation. So this is going to be an attempt to circumvent the crazy number of Rending Valleys that are all over the format. And unlike Paper Magic, both Mono Blue and Azorius Spirits are pretty freaking popular here. So what we're going to do is just some gameplay with this exact version of the list. Like I said, this is what I just played in Paper last week, and let's see if we can't collect some W's here. And the reason we're playing Explorer and not Magic Online is because this weekend is going to be Explorer qualifying season. And this one is going, or weekend, not season. And this weekend is best of 3 play. I know there was just a qualifying weekend a week or 2 ago where it was all best of 1. And realistically, if we're playing best of 1 games, then I would not recommend this list. I would actually recommend Mono Blue for best of 1, because Mono Blue is, I believe, the better version of Spirits in game 1. But with these really crazy white sideboard options, I think Azorius is by far the better version for best of 3 matches, which is why I've been playing it in Paper tournaments. Anyway, that's enough jibber jabber. Let's get into round 1. See y'all there. So, not the usual space for this, but anybody who used to watch my live streams will know that Kristen, my girlfriend, is a huge fan of her cats. She's got 4 really adorable little guys, including T'Challa here. And T'Challa just has had a really rough year as of late. He's got a tumor on the inside of his ear that the veterinarian just discovered, and is starting to have kidney failure, which makes surgery a little more complicated than it needs to be otherwise. So if any of you can help donate to Kristen's GoFundMe to raise $5,000 for the surgery that he needs to not have a cancerous tumor on the inside of his ear, I would be eternally grateful for any help anybody can provide. The GoFund link will be pinned right into the video description, so if you are willing and able to help her out, you definitely do so there. In the meantime, here's a few more pictures of this really adorable little guy. Okay, we're on the draw here, and this hand is a little slow, but I still think it's acceptable, so I'm going to keep it and see what happens. Our opponent's playing Mana Confluence on turn 1, which tells me that they're playing Greasefang, and that is going to be a little bit of it's a good matchup, obviously, but being specifically on the draw here with this hand makes me a little bit sad times. The Thoughtseize is probably going to take this Geistlight Snare here, and the good part about them casting Thoughtseize on turn 2 and not turn 3, though, is that I'm guaranteed to not have to worry about Greasefang combo on exactly this next turn, so I'm pretty likely to have a third mana up for interaction by the time they're actually going to be trying their combo. Since I have double Rattle Chains and Curious Obsession, that also means I'm going to be able to play a pretty decent flash game, and I actually think my opponent was right there. So to take out the CO, rather than one of the counter spells when they know I'm going to have access to these anyway, I think my opponent was correct to take the CO, because I'm going to get pretty massively ahead if I'm allowed to participate, because they don't get to try their combo until at least turn 4 anyway. So here, I'm actually going to just run out the Rattle Chains that they know about here. I do, know that they sure can, like, Grizzly Salvage here. That's kind of whatever. They do mill over a Parhelion, but they don't actually get a card. So I'm going to play the card they know about once again. And now, look at this hand. I've got double Spell Queller, Rattle Chains, plus Geistlight Snare. And with this Hallowed Fountain in hand, I get to guarantee this turn Spell Queller that they know about, untap, and I will Spell Queller that, untap, and then have Rattle Chains plus Geistlight. And yes, they know about both, but they still have to deal with all this shit. So, I don't know, good luck, opponent. If they decide to, like, use some form of removal spell on the Spell Queller, then okay, fine. Grizzly Salvage number 2, completely fine. This time they do get a land, probably the Confluence, what they're choosing. It is. And I'm going to go ahead and just play the Painless land, but this game is not over, but it's pretty close. Scrapwork Mutt, don't really care. Like, countering a Scrapwork Mutt since it has Unearth is kind of not what I want to be doing right now. So I'm just going to let this rock and untap. So now that I've untapped, I have the mana for Spell Queller plus Geistlight or Spell Queller plus Rattle Chains. And since they know about the Rattle Chains, this is going to be a pretty difficult time for my opponent. Okay, so there's the Greasefang. So now I get to go ahead and use the Spell Queller, and they're probably going to scoop here. Scoop? Okay, fine, I'll just kill you then. All right, so there's game 1 against Greasefang. So let's take a look at our sideboard. I think I sideboarded last time. Oh no, I have the 2 invasions. I do want the 2 invasions. What do I want the 2 invasions instead of, though? Literally nothing. I'm actually just not gonna sideboard here. So we have cards that could be good against them. I've got the 2 Invasion of Gobakons, I've got the 3 Surge of Salvations, and both of those are good against the more mid-rangey part of their deck, where they're trying to, like, fatal push out my stuff, or they're simply trying to set up for longer games with cards like Can't Stay Away, and making that cost 4 instead of 2 is pretty good with the invasion. But honestly, I'm just gonna resubmit. And it does sound a little, I guess, ego heavy to say, oh yeah, the matchup is so good that I just don't need sideboard cards, but, like, look at this hand. This hand is completely fine. Even if they Thoughtseize and take out my CO, this is probably still participating enough with Geistlight Snare, even on the draw. So, like, yeah, like, what do I really need to change or do here? So they probably do take the CO, though. If they have, like, exactly Grizzly Salvage into Greasefang, they probably take Geistlight Snare instead. But seeing what they take from Thoughtseize, they take the Rattle Chains. Okay, we're in for a long haul. Understood. So that means that here, I actually don't want to cast my Supreme Phantom. Instead, okay, well, I drew a second one. That changes that. I'm going to play the Darker Waste and cast the Supreme Phantom they know about. So if they do Grizzly Salvage into combo me, then, what? Beat of Hope? Okay. I mean, they milled over a Greasefang, so you got it, but what? So here, if they just have, like, land Greasefang, then yeah, sure, I'm dead, you got me. But there's no white source here, so, alright, I guess I'm just gonna untap. So, oh, well, okay. I guess my life is really easy. Go ahead, opponent. So, some macro decisions, right? So, the way I played my lands, I played, obviously, the island into the Darker Waste into the Agaijo, but even though they know about the Otawara, I'm actively trying to keep that card in my hand so that I can use it as a spell rather than a land if I have the ability to. But now I'm just going to get to... Jesus, okay. But now I'm just going to get to put the CO on here. The Geistlight costs 1. Let's see if I can draw some kind of other interaction as well. A Shacklegeist certainly counts. And I'm going to cast it. This is now your problem. So, of course, they know about the Geistlight Snare. That's whatever. And then next turn, another Chariot. Do I care about Chariot at this point? No, I'm winning the race here, so I'm actually not going to touch the Chariot. You can have that. Not like they can block my things. I'm just going to cast a Supreme Phantom post-combat, most likely. Actually, I'm just going to do it pre-combat. Like, I'm already planning on doing this. They already know I have the Geistlight Snare. I can tap down the Chariot, or if they go to combo, I can simply not attack with my Shacklegeist that exists here, and make ready to tap the Parhelion should it come out of the graveyard with these two creatures already. So I just don't need to do anything other than attack with the Spell Queller. So I'm going to do that, draw a card, and see what happens. And it's another land, so I'm actually going to cast this Shacklegeist too. So once again, they do know I have the Geistlight Snare, but like, look at this board state. I don't give a fuck if they know about it. So another thing of note here, if they have exactly a Godless Shrine or a Temple Garden and they want to make white, that does put them at 11. 11 is what I currently have on the table. So a Shockland is actually not an option for them right now. Oh, neither is Thoughtseize. Duh, for the same reason. With a Bloom command. So they're going to drain and gain, and I don't care about that. You got it. You can have an extra turn if you need it. So they can get a land if they want, and they did find a pathway, but it is not one that makes white, so that doesn't solve anything. All right, GG's opponent. Next round. Okay, so we are on the draw. Our opponent's taking a mulligan, and I've got a decision to make. So I've got turn 1 blue land Spectral CO on the draw, and I'm actually going to mull because even though I've got, I guess, the Wombo combo right, I don't really have follow-up even with a land. Like, I'm technically able to produce a second Spectral Sailor, but like, I don't know, this hand's kind of medium even when this resolves and I draw a land, so I'm going to go ahead and mulligan. And this hand is surprisingly a lot more stable. So a second land allows me to go Spectral Sailor, but then protect it with the Mausoleum Wanderer, and I like that a lot more. So here, I'm going to go ahead and put back one of the Rattle Chains, and even if my opponent is a Thoughtseize deck, they don't have any way to kind of break up what I'm doing. So I do still want to draw a counterspell with this hand, but this is a lot less punishable than the 7-card hand was. And my opponent actually mulled down to 5, so I feel much less bad about mulling to 6 here. Temple Garden is almost always really good news for a hand like this. Almost always. So if I'm going to see Temple Garden, I guess my ideal matchup here is like just another Greasefang opponent, right? Like if my opponent's just doing more Greasefang things and I can just Spectral Sailor, untap, do this thing, then I'm going to feel really good about drawing a counterspell. The downside to this hand specifically is that if I don't draw a second land and they just like Grizzly Salvage me, and that is exactly what's happening, okay. I can't do anything about the Raffine's Informant, but a Grizzly Salvage could have been countered by a Mausoleum Wanderer in theory. So if they just like discard a Parhelion and have the combo next turn and I don't draw like a Geistlight Snare or something, then I could very well just still die. And oh no, there's the Parhelion. Oh no. All right. So here's the CO. So I am going to try to fight back like this. And Geistlight Snare? No. So I'm going to draw the Mausoleum Wanderer and basically cross my fingers here. If they just have like a land Greasefang, then yeah, I'm just dead. But if they have almost anything else, then I'm fairly confident about our ability to fight back. Almost anything else. Oh, whew, Grizzly Salvage. Okay, okay. Oh, that's scary. Okay, so they can take the Darkboard pathway. Nothing else, but they can take the Darkboard pathway, and that's pretty decent as far as setup spells go. The upside to this now is that they can't Fatal Push my Spectral Sailor because of the Mausoleum Wanderer. So they're probably just like making a land drop and just kind of calling the shit a day. If they Thoughtseize me, I will use the Mausoleum Wanderer because I want to give myself a chance to draw land for this Spell Queller. Okay, not sure why that required thought, but that's okay. I'll take my 3, go to 16, and let's do the untap. Woo! Look at us go! Alright, so let's go ahead and attack first. There's no way I'm not playing this Seachrome Coast, but I still, you know, it's still, I guess, correct to see what I draw before actually making as many plays as possible. So another thing that I'm going to do here is, if my opponent decides to simply cast like a Chariot or something, I think rather than countering the Chariot, I'm going to instead Rattle Chains plus Wanderer at end of turn and present a clock that outpaces what they're doing. I think I like that more than worrying about a counterspell. If they just go ahead and attack with the Raffine's Informant, for the same reason, I think I'm going to block with... No, I'm not going to block with Rattle Chains. Never mind. So what I was going to say is I could flash in Rattle Chains, threaten a block on the Raffine's Informant, Mausoleum Wanderer, and then just block the Raffine's Informant while keeping the Wanderer on the table, but that leaves me open to them simply resolving a turn 2 Greasefang and trying to win next turn. So instead, I'm just going to take the 3 and give myself the ability to either Spell Queller or something in second main phase. That's fine. So as promised, and realistically, it could have been correct to just like not deal with this. but I honestly think I'm gonna end up being okay here. If I draw a land, then I also get to put the second CO on something too. But here, what do I want to draw? Geistlight Snare feels pretty good. A Shacklegeist would be actively amazing, and a Brazen Borrower would not suck. So I've got a lot of cards I want to draw here. Okay, let's do the untap. And a Supreme Phantom. What good does that do me? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. They're at 15. That does not do the job. So I'm simply going to attack for 4 and give myself the ability to block. What does that do for me? 2, 4, you go down to 11. I block 4 here. Take a total of 7, go down to 6. Untap, and a Supreme Phantom plus Spell Queller is 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Okay, yes, let's do that. And we drew an island. The island came just a little late, but I am still pretty okay with this. Another really sweet thing I can do here. Thoughtseize? Okay, so what happens if they Thoughtseize? I can Rattle Chains and then Supreme Phantom. Let them go down to 9. Even if they combo, I think I'm still okay. Yeah, I'm just gonna let them go down to 9 and then put like a mega shit ton of power and toughness into play. I think that's the wave here. So, okay, yeah, sick. Pack it up. Yeah, I think even with a Greasefang there, that was still fine. And I'm just gonna resubmit again. I'm just not gonna sideboard against Greasefang. Our plan is already super good, which is kind of insane to think about. Like, a matchup is so good that you don't even want to sideboard. But I currently think that might actually be where I am in life right now. Oh, get the fuck out my face. Okay, much better. So let's keep this. I'm gonna put back one of the 2 Spectral Sailors here, knowing that I want access to Lofty Denial or Spell Queller for some nice interaction on their combo turns. Okay, that's probably an Informant. It is. Let's see what they discard before playing the Spectral Sailor. It is the Parhelion. All right, so let's go ahead and pay for this. And if I'm being completely honest, this is probably not the interaction I wanted out of this, but I'm going to just develop my Shacklegeist. So developing my Shacklegeist allows me to both ignore the Greasefang combo, and I get to just not attack with this. If they don't play Greasefang, then I can tap the Raffine's Informant and not take damage from this either. So if they spend this turn using like a Fatal Push here, then I guess I'm okay with that too. So let's see what they choose to do. Witherbloom Command. Okay, so I'm going to tap down the Raffine's Informant, so I'm not taking this damage. They do get to do the whole mill 3 thing, but I already have Greasefang covered with a land drop next turn here. So this feels pretty okay. If they want to Thoughtseize or Fatal Push this, then so be it. I already can't do anything about that. But now we've faded the damage. I've got this lovely little Spell Queller here. Lofty Denial isn't even that bad. Actually, no. I'll scratch that. Lofty Denial is actively good. So here, if they try to... Oh, Thoughtseize. Disgusting. Crying, screaming, etc. So if they have a Greasefang in hand, then I do just die to Thoughtseize plus combo. So I think what I'm actually supposed to do here is let them Thoughtseize my Spell Queller and then just Lofty Denial as Force Spike, giving myself the ability to next turn make my land drop and then Supreme Phantom plus Lofty, which also means I'm not using Iganjo this turn. Oh, they take the Supreme Phantom, so I'm just super not worried about combo here? How worried am I about a post-combat Greasefang? Fuck it, we're gonna YOLO. Alright, if they have the post-combat Greasefang, then I got. We talked about it. Oh well, sucks to be me. But I think I'm just gonna... Yeah, fucking YOLO succeeded. Alright, opponent. So now I've got Spell Queller and Lofty Denial. They do know about both. If this is just like a Sky Sovereign, then so be it. I have this Force Spike here, but I'm just not gonna do anything. I'm just gonna, yeah, let's just continue to make land drops, and then all of my spells favorably interact with basically all of their spells, so even this is still like not great for them. I do want to start attacking with this Mutavault since I'm still holding up Spell Queller. And if they have a removal spell for this, then that's actually okay because that's a removal spell they're not using on one of my, I guess, more valuable spirits later on, like another Shacklegeist. So while we're here, I don't like it, but it's gonna happen. Another Thoughtseize. Okay, let's get Greasefanged, I guess. They got it, they got it. Oh, I mean, that's annoying, but alright. That it could have been a lot worse. It's still bad, but it could have been a lot worse. So now they take out the Lofty Denial, keep me with Spell Pierce, and my job is to try to basically find something else to do. So I've got this Mausoleum Wanderer, and I am in a fairly unhappy position against this if they just like have a creature. So I don't know, don't have a creature opponent, please. So, while we're here, I do know that this was a completely avoidable position, right? Like, really all I had to do earlier, that's a good draw. All I had to do earlier was just not attack with Immutavault and give myself the ability to hold up Spell Queller plus Lofty Denial. And I decided to take the more aggressive route. And I am currently being a little punished for that, since I'm, well, not really doing much other than attacking for one right now, where I could have had a bit of a, I guess, a more stalwart defense. The double Thoughtseize did kind of ruin some parts of that, and it forced my hand a little bit, but I still think I stand by the decision I made to try to close out the game. And realistically, with Spell Queller here, I'm fairly likely to still be playing the game. Well, especially if my opponent's gonna continue all lands. Yeah, I think I'm okay with this. Like, could my clock be a little faster? Yeah, of course, but I don't think it's Jesus' opponent. I will use that. So let's see if this is actually going to survive or if they have a spell. Ray of Enfeeblement. Got it. Now that they've used the Ray of Enfeeblement, though, hopefully that means it's gone for this Spell Queller. So if they just want to cast, like, I don't know, something like that, then I will be pretty glad to not let them do that. Thank you for using the Ray of Enfeeblement, opponent. So now I'm just going to get to do this and Supreme Fan. Yeah. How much mana do they have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, they have more than 10. So I already can't double Geistlight the Greasefang anyway, so if they got it, they just fucking got it. That does get rid of exactly Supreme Phantom, but not the Spell Queller, so I do care because it takes my clock down by an extra turn, but this is nowhere near as bad as things could. And Rattle Chains is actively insane here. So I'm literally looking to dodge exactly a Greasefang this turn into the Parhelion. I do not care about the this thing. Do I try to close out the game and potentially walk into a Raven Enfeeblement here? No. Oh, now I don't care if they do have the combo. And I'm going to play the Shacklegeist, and doing that masks the fact that I have a Rattle Chains in hand because I did it sorcery speed. But once again, pack it up. Let's try to play against not Greasefang next time. Be sure to check out additional content from myself, Nikachu, the Commander Cookout, and others at themanabase.com. Okay, so we're in our third round of gameplay, and once again, we have the one lander that has Spectral Sailor CO, but this time we have Geistlight Snare. So I'm actually going to keep this one and gamble a bit on our land drops here, and hopefully we're going to be playing against something that's not Greasefang. However, this hand would really love to see, whoa, hi, better, something else. So, and we got the land, nice. So playing against Mono Blue, what I expect here is to lose game 1, but win potentially games 2 and 3. They do have a pretty good matchup against us. So I'm actually going to put in my own Spectral Sailor in response here. Yeah, fuck it, let's see what happens first. So if they have the CO here, then that's not going to be super fun to deal with, but it also just kind of is what it is. Supreme Phantom, okay. So I'm just going to take my licks here in the form of 2 damage, cry about that, and then flash in my own Spectral, and hopefully being on the draw here doesn't punish too badly. However, I won't lie and say I expect this to end super well for the home team here. The Supreme Phantom is going to suck. So what I can do here is play my first Mausoleum Wanderer, and I know that this takes down my Lofty Denial, but I also don't want to play my CO or my second Wanderer. Ideally, what happens here is they spend a turn doing hopefully close to nothing other than just like attacking, right? I take the attack. I think I'm gonna deny the card draw. I'm just gonna throw you in front. That's medium helpful. So what I can do here is Wanderer first. This plays around Lofty Denial or Geistlight from them. Not... Oh, fuck. Oh, God. Okay, never mind. I just lost. So, the plan was to try to put the CO on this and make it a 3/3 to attack through this. But realistically, that misclick is just going to have cost me the game. And I don't think I was winning in it, but oh well. So, here's Portable Hole. And I don't want anything else against them. I do not think I want the Catilda. You know what? I haven't tried Catilda in this matchup before, so I'm going to try it. We're going to do something new. So I'm going to take out the Brazen Powers because they're bad. And I'm going to take out Spell Pierces. I have exactly 2 cards that are extra in, and I've got exactly 2 Catildas in this deck. But I really want to try the new thing. I'm going to take out Spell Quellers against the Mystical Dispute deck. I don't know. I just want to, like, do the giant thing, right? And the goal here is to deal with Shacklegeist using the Portable Hole, resolve a Catilda, and just have like a 4... God damn it. And just have like a 4/4 that's just way, way, way bigger than whatever they're doing. So here with this hand, I'm just going to keep this, put back the Spell Queller, and see if this ends up being good enough. So I kept the CO instead of the Spell Queller on the off chance that I do get to, I guess, kind of get away with, I don't know, just doing something neat. So like if I draw, for example, a Shacklegeist of my own or something like that, I can just use CO and be pretty happy about that. So there's a Shacklegeist. Good thing we kept this. And I get to get rid of this and then maybe Lofty Denial something? I doubt it. I don't know. I could have also used that opportunity to like resolve my Catilda, but okay. So there's a Supreme Phantom. You got that. And Shacklegeist of my own. Okay. So here I'm going to resolve this Catilda because they can't Mystical Dispute it. It is only a 1/1 right now, which means if they CO this, it's going to happen. But let's see if they have, I don't know, Witness Protection maybe? No, nothing. All right. I'm just going to take that and cry about it. Spectral Sailor is actively pretty decent. So what can I do? I can CO here. That puts this at a 3/3. This way, if they decide to get cute and try to like Rattle Chains to block, I can put in Spectral Sailor and that's a 4/4. Let's try it. Let's try to do the cute thing. What's happening? Are we petty thefting? Geistlight Snare. Yeah, you got it. All right. Fine. I could fight over it. You know what? Fuck it. Let's fight over it. This doesn't play super well into them just having a Rattle Chains to block, but if they have another counterspell, I suppose I'd be okay with that. All right. And this is the part where I complain quite a bit if they resolve their own Shacklegeist here. Like I got to deal with the first one. Hopefully they just don't have a second. Okay. I'm gonna play mine. Yeah, let's see what happens. Oh, what? You just resolved? Oh, that's not real. All right, let's try to attack. And it's gonna work, and we're gonna pass. Okay, so there's a CO. I'm going to try to cast my Spectral. Hell yeah, let's go. Hopefully no Rattle Chains. Rattle Chains, no Rattle Chains, no Rattle Chains. Yes, no Rattle Chains. Goodbye, Curious Obsession. It will fall off. Do we scoop to the CO falling off? We do not. Oh, that's super good for us, actually. So I'm just gonna attack with this again. If they have a blocker, nope. I was gonna say if they have a blocker, I can tap it with the Shacklegeist, but here I'm just gonna untap. If they put another CO on, I can Otawara / tap here. So that's not really a plan that they have available. Okay, they do have another land. I mean, technically so do I, but you know, it is what it is. So let's tap the Supreme Verdict, or I'm sorry, the Supreme Phantom down. You know, the number of times I have called Supreme Phantom Supreme Verdict, even though I haven't played a Supreme Verdict deck in years, is kind of astounding to me still. Like, I do it all the time, and it has never been relevant, and I don't know why I do it. All right, now what? We are Otawara on the Catilda. That's how portable hold this, and walk Catilda into a Lofty Denial is fine by me. So I don't care if they Lofty Denial this because I have the back half if they do, but never mind, it just didn't matter. All right, sweet. So let's go into game 3 and see if Portable Hold does the thing again. No changes on the draw, right? Let's think about that. Yeah, no changes on the draw. I could put Invasion of Gobakhan over the 2 Spell Quellers in an attempt to do something that fades a Mystical Dispute, but the likelihood of me actually getting to attack the battle is pretty low. Or getting to attack the battle when I want to, more accurately, is pretty low. I'm going to put these back in on the draw. I think that plays a little better around the Obsession turns, since they're going to be on the play. God, this is sketchy. Can't keep. This is way too sketchy. So this hand is technically functional, and on the play, I would have kept it because I can use my counter spells to get rid of their Shacklegeist. On the draw, I don't have that ability, and I don't have a great follow-up with this Spectral Sailor. So what is this hand really doing? The Mutavaults are nice, but not for this matchup. This is much better, not close. I want to get rid of the Mutavault here. Actually, Mutavault plus Shacklegeist is really good. I'm gonna get rid of the Pathway and gamble on another land drop. Yeah, like, don't get me wrong, this hand still isn't perfect, but it's much better. So here I am just gonna jam one of these. The Rattle Chains is actually kind of decent, and let's see if this is a Spectral Sailor or what. It is a Spectral Sailor, okay. So here, if they do have the follow-up CO, then I guess I cry about that. But if they have the CO, then I'm actually okay with resolving my Shacklegeist next turn. If they resolve Shacklegeist, then I don't know, fucking cry about it. But, like, yeah, them resolving Shacklegeist is kind of the nightmare scenario here. Unless my draw step is a Portable Hole. If I get to Supreme Phantom, okay. So what do I want to do here? I can resolve my Shacklegeist. If they want to cast a counterspell, I just pop this. Yeah, let's do that. If it's a mystical dispute exactly, then sure. Oh, nothing. Nothing. They do nothing. Okay. That is fucking perfect. So now I'm just going to no attack and turn, see what happens here. If they petty theft, nope, it's rattle chains. That's fine. Rattle chains is fine. So I don't like their ability to now present Shacklegeist at instant speed, but since I already can't do anything about that, then I guess I'll just, I don't know, cry about it. Okay. No happens, etc. 1-2. Actually, no, I am gonna give them the chance to attack. Because if they attack with rattle chains, then I'm pretty okay to just block with Wanderer and go from there. Okay, so they're not gonna do that. So let's go ahead and tap down the Shacklegeist. I guess they can respond if they want, but they shouldn't. Okay. Oh, whoa, let's go, let's go, let's go. All right, we asked for that. We very specifically asked for that. So hopefully they don't have fucking shore up. Please don't have shore up, opponent. I just want to get rid of this stupid Shacklegeist. No shore up, no slip out the back. I mean, yes, I'll counter it if they have it, but I'd just rather they didn't have it. Stop looking at my shit. I mean, yeah, sure, they can tap if they want, but like, rather than just like, okay, so they are going to tap down my Shacklegeist. That's fine. Fine, I'll counter it. Get that Shacklegeist the hell out of my face. This my Shacklegeist is now tapped. Okay, so I still want another land drop here, but I am very glad to have that Shacklegeist the fuck off the table. So hopefully they don't, like, I don't know, have petty theft from my portable hole or anything too scary. They can attack if they want. Yeah, that's fine. I'm just glad they didn't, like, have a follow-up Curious. An Ascendant Spirit is actually fine. Another Mutavault is not exactly what the doctor ordered, but it certainly could have been a lot worse than that. So they can use the mana to pump into Ascendant Spirits. I do have the ability to actually do a bunch of shit. I can develop Shacklegeist if I want to. Sorry, Rattle Chains if I want to. I can use Mutavault, animate Mutavault, tap this Ascendant Spirit, which also means I can Curious this turn. I mean, yes, I'm... Oh no, is that a petty theft? Don't be a fucking petty theft. I am so dead if that's a petty theft. Oh god. I did not consider petty theft. Oh, annoying but allowed. Yeah, sure. Honestly, a pretty good play from my opponent there. So I am going to have a 3-3 Shacklegeist next turn, which means anything they want to do, I get to block fairly effectively here. They can make this a 2-3, which means it does fade my Mutavault. Okay. So I take 5 here. I'm not activating Mutavault, opponent. You got it. So hopefully I draw a land here, I guess is my optimal draw. Brazen Power or Portable Hole for Ascendant Spirit wouldn't be bad either. That's not terrible, but not great either. So let's see. How do I want to gamble? Because that's what's happening. We're gambling. I'm just deciding how. I think I want to develop Mausoleum Wanderer. This gives me the chance to have a bunch of pretty good lines here. Like I can tap down Ascendant Spirit. I can block Rattle Chains with Wanderer and simply choose to not attack with Shacklegeist, meaning that these two don't have great attacks either. They don't have the mana to pump into this, and what the fuck is this? I am scared of this. Whatever's in their hand is a little scary. But without a second blue source, I'm kind of crying. Like, likelihood of us drawing both Mutavaults really early is pretty low, but when it happens, it's kind of devastating. Faceless Haven. Fucking yikes. So I'm going to tap, activate, Shacklegeist, tapping Ascendant Spirit, doing this and this. And I still have my 3-3 to block these. All right. Hey, blue source. Hi, I was looking for you. So I want to do this. Do you have a dispute or something else? If they... Okay, good. I was going to say, if they decide to slip out the back, I just don't think I'm going to do anything about it. But let's get our attack on here and see if they have another Spectral Sailor. They don't. Sick. All right, give me a card. That's actually not bad for next turn. So, one tap. So now that this is a 4-4, what do I want to have happen? A land for them is actually kind of decent for me. They can start activating this, which is a little scary. Okay, so what happens? If I activate Mutavault and go to tap this, they animate this, which means I should probably develop my board a little more here, I think. Let's try to develop my board. See what happens here. Bad thing is going to happen here. Mystical Dispute. That does in fact count as a bad thing. What am I taking? 4, 8, 9, 10, 11? Potentially? Oh, okay. I will block Rattle Chains. I'll take the 5. And they did not pump the Ascendant Spirit. That's probably decent for me. Untap. A Lofty is kind of not really what I want at all here. I want... Well, first to draw a card. So I think I'm just going to start with my regular attack for 4. I'm not going to try to attack for 5 here. So, I don't know. Daddy needs a Portable Hole? Or a Petty Theft. A second Shacklegeist. I don't think that's terrible, actually. So let's do this. You can draw a card here, which I don't appreciate, but I can't do anything about. Nope, we're just going to pump. Okay, I don't have a Petty Theft, so you're going to get kind of rewarded for that. Are we animating the Faceless Haven? So I guess that's... Alright, so I'm going to activate the Mutavault again, and hope to God their card in hand not a Rattle Chains. If it's a Rattle Chains, I am ultra, super, hyper, mega fucked. If I could throw more keywords onto that, then it is we are so dead. GG's opponent. Okay, so we played against the same matchup twice earlier, so we're gonna have a kind of bonus fourth round today. We are on the draw once again, so 0 for 4 on the die rolls, but my hand is not bad. I wouldn't go so far as to call it good, but I think it's just okay enough to want to see where it goes. Hallowed Fountain, Mausoleum Wanderer, so we're playing a mirror. I no longer like my hand. I now think my hand is ass. So if they have the CO, I'm pretty close to just dead on the spot. Okay, not dead on the spot. I do like that for us. So here I'm going to attempt to cast Rattle Chains in their upkeep to present a blocker. The reason I want to do it in their upkeep is because I don't want to give them a land drop to cast Spell Queller, but I don't mind if they cast a 2-mana counter spell. I'm going to keep the land in hand and make an attempt to use Eiganjo as a spell too. So here, if they just develop like a Spectral Sailor, so be it. So let's see if they do want to cast a counter spell here. It's like the answer is going to be no. LOL, I could have given that hexproof. I should have given that hexproof. It's just funny. All right. So now they can't Spell Queller my Rattle Chains, which is nice for me. And of course, they did have the land. There's the Shacklegeist. Going to complain about that quite a bit. And I will block here. The Darker Wastes. All right, cool. So I'm going to keep the Darker Wastes here and attempt to once again try to use Eiganjo here. If they do have a Rattle Chains, then I don't know, so be it. No, not doing anything about that. Fingers crossed, everything. Are we blessed? There are no Rattle Chains. There's no slip. They get there, people, the one time. Hell yeah, got rid of Shacklegeist. Let's go. Don't have another. Don't have another. Don't have another. God damn it, they had another. Oh, my life is sad. All right, I guess I'll just resolve mine and hope for the best here. This is gonna suck. We're so dead. Man, being on the draw 4 times in a row is gonna get rough. Not gonna end well. So, I have options. I can Curious Obsession to Shacklegeist, and if they Queller, I can Queller back, giving me the Queller lead and the chance to attack with CO. If they just decide to, like, cast a Rattle Chains or something, then so be it. If it's a counterspell, okay, not a counterspell. So, I can cast this now, which also means I'm going to hold up my Rattle Chain. Oh, shit. Oh, that was not expected. I just get to draw my card. Go. I'll be honest, I definitely did not expect to just draw a card. So I'm going to Geistlight Snare here with the intention of potentially flashing in Rattle Chain. They Geistlight back, I'm going to resolve my spell. So not a big fan of them having a Rattle Chains in play here, but I can't do much about it, so I guess it is what it is. If they attack with Rattle Chains, I think I will block. I could have also held my Rattle Chains to give myself the ability to play around them tapping these two to tap here. I actually am okay with this attack. So if I draw a land here, I get to cast the Supreme Phantom first and then protect it with this. Not optimal, but nothing either. So let's try. No Spell Queller. Geistlight. Not about it, but got it, I got. Alright. So now I'm gonna tap down the Rattle Chains with the 2 new friends and try to attack through Supreme Phantom. Oh right, duh. One tap creatures, never mind. I just didn't have a way to do that. Ugh, yeah, we're just dead here. Second Shacklegeist wrecked me. I do have Rattle Chains, so I can just no attack here. Spectral Sailor. I actively really don't want that to resolve. Please no Spell Queller. Okay, still no Spell Queller, which is nice for me. So now I'm still hoping to draw another land here so that I can again Supreme Phantom backed up. As it stands, I can tap this, and that is what I want to do. Are you tap one of my friends? Is that what's happening here? Looks like we are in fact tapping something else here. Yeah, that's fine. So now I'm just gonna tap the Rattle Chains. 1, 2, and see what they choose to resolve post-combat. I do like it when my opponents do nothing. So let's a Darker Wastes plus Hall to cast Supreme Phantom. Oh my god, we're just resolving things? Let's go, let's go, let's go! Alright, that was fucking terrifying. If I'm keeping it real with y'all. There was so much shit that had the ability to go wrong there. Yeah. Alright. I could have kept in the Brazen Bower instead of 2 of the Spell Quellers as a way to, I guess, surprise unlock my friends from their portable holes. And that's something that I have done before, and I probably will do again. But I think I'm just gonna try Spell Queller here. or the 2/3 body rather than a 3/1 body that dies to Spectral Sailor. So it's not exactly the most robust sideboard plan, but I think it's one that's workable. And that game was fucking intense. Got 2 Shacklegeist. I can't really ask for too much more than that. Mausoleum Wanderer is going to be pretty good. Sailor is also going to be pretty good. Don't resolve a Shacklegeist in my face, please. Okay, definitely not going to block here. I'm not walking into a Rattle Chains. I am going to try this. Let's see what happens. Nothing. I do like it when an opponent does nothing. So, I have options. We can just jam CO and see if my opponent wants to play, well, really anything at it. And I think that is the route I'm going to take. So, let's see what happens here. If they have a counterspell, so be it. Counterspell. All right. Oh my god, I just get to draw a card. Shit. Now, okay, good. I was gonna say, now if I draw a Portable Hole, I'm gonna feel a little stupid. But if they just like, okay, yeah, all right, fine. Just not a Shacklegeist. That's really all I'm asking here. All right, good. So now I'm going to the Darker Wastes hold up Spell Queller. Yeah, all right. So they can just like jam a protected Oh, they do attack? Yeah, whatever. You got it. Develop land drops here. And as long as they're only trying to attack me for 1 at a time here, I think this is actually okay. I can give myself the chance to try to resolve the Huron. Like, as we've seen in both matchups, like, this card is so incredibly fucking important. Like, I don't want to just sign myself up to not have access to these if possible. So I'm going to untap again. Supreme Phantom's actually not bad. Excuse me. I will give myself another, because I've got the land drops I need here. So I'm just not going to press a lot of buttons. I think I could, in main phase 2, just jam the Supreme Phantom. Because while Supreme Phantom is pretty important, I don't know that I would call it as important as Shacklegeist by any stretch of the imagination. Let's think. No, I'm actually going to do this now. So doing this now plays around Tickle Dispute because I can just tap the 3. Same for Geistlight Snare. If they Queller, I can Queller back. Rattle Chains. Rattle Chains is fine. We'll not be doing anything about Rattle Chains. So they made this a 2/2. So now if they have a hard counterspell, oh sick. Then I can counterspell back. This gives them the ability to flash in and threaten Supreme Phantom to pump this into a 3/3. So I'm just not gonna walk into that. If they start casting shit at sorcery speed, what do I do? Skyclave Apparition, not a fan. I guess I'm gonna try to fucking Queller it, I guess. Hopefully we don't have a counterspell. Can I have a counterspell, please? That'd be great. I would love you if you don't have a counterspell. Nope, there's a counterspell. Okay, so, sucks to be me. Upside, they're tapped out. So now, this does suck. They get rid of this. I do have access to both Shacklegeist and Supreme Phantom now, while, oh my Lanta, that was nice. And I am going to play to land untapped here, so I want to do this. I want to do this. And now I'm feeling pretty decent about this board state. Of note, I also have a 3/3 Mutavault to block Skyclave if they decide to get frisky with that, and I don't know, fuck up or forget or whatever. Yeah, whatever. You don't have great attacks. Just don't start fucking with my stuff alone. Hooray. Alright. I'm positive I won't be doing anything with that. But, what to do with that information? I can CO on the Supreme Phantom, knowing that their priority is still dealing with the Shacklegeist. If they decide to get frisky with a double block, then I have Iganjo to kill one of the blockers, and I know they only have 1 card in hand. So I am actually feeling pretty good about that. Tilda? Oh no! Okay, so Tilda gets to try to facilitate. Oh, actually, it just gets the block by itself, doesn't it? I don't get the cool double block kill, but I still at least get to do this. Shacklegeist can tap whatever the back half of this does. Oh, son of a bitch, it's a 5/5. Oh my god. I'm so bad. I'm so bad. And it already declared as a block, so I'm just really bad. Oh god. Alright. I'm dead on the spot. Why am I still tapping cards? Oh my god, that felt terrible. Alright, let's go to game 3. Knowing that they sided in Catilda, I do want to give myself access to the petty thefts now. And I still don't think I should be playing Catildas here. I think I'm just going to rock. But the petty thefts will be a fairly nice surprise if they try to like Portable Hole a Shacklegeist or something again. Since I get to, free my friends and whatnot. And I get to play first, which is no, come on. Oh, no, not like this. What are we doing? Oh, oh God, why? All right, well, oh God, we suck so bad today. I gotta put back one more too. Oh, I'm so absolutely fucking dead. All right, I don't even know what I want to happen here. So at least I'm not being CO'd out of the planet here. But man, this is not going to end well. Okay, sure, main phase battle. That actually does make sense. Like, my hand is so criminally lackluster that, like, that's a dispute. I'm actually packing it up. Okay, okay. I mean, I won't pack it up to a portable hole because I still have this, but I am not even approaching a good position here. Okay, so there is a portable hole. Is there also a CO? Please don't also have a CO. Okay. So knowing that they don't have blows. I am ultra dead. Belt Queller and I pack it up. Lofted and I'll okay, I'll keep playing. And this is rough. Okay, what's our follow-up? Just main phasing Catilda. Okay. I don't even know if I can beat that. Actually I'll go even farther than that. I am fairly confident that I can. I don't know. Maybe I should have. I should be. Oh, okay, okay, okay. We're dead. We're dead. Good night, sweet prince. Oh man. Okay, so that was pretty fun. Not gonna lie. Obviously, the two Greasefang matches were incredibly easy, and the other two matches were much more difficult in Spirits matchups, which a little ashamed to have lost both, but you know, circumstances are what they are, right? Like the Azorius matchup was really, really interesting, and that game one was crazy back and forth. Just this super sad face multifor in game three is a very anticlimactic way to end a gameplay video, but you know, the shit happens sometimes. Um, yeah, like double mutable, not having the blue sources early super screwed us, and that doesn't happen super often, but when it does, man, is it painful. And then we did get punished by Iganjo not being the fourth copy of Pathway here, because like if the Iganjo was the Pathway, maybe that hand is like slightly playable, right? Because we can just put it on blue side, start casting Mausoleum Wanderers, and maybe go from there. But it also came up that Iganjo was good as a removal spell, so I think that was just a well, you know, shit happens kind of round. And against Mono Blue, like, we do know that Mono Blue is a deck that typically gets the better of this matchup because they play lower to the ground, or I guess lower to the air than we do. So I've had good results with Mono Blue versus Azorius for effectively the same reason that they did versus us, right? Like they get a thing under us, like that big ass Ascendant Spirit, and you can eventually just like ride the thing to victory provided you have ways to protect it, and they did. So in that game three, I could have played a bit more defensively and tried to like just block the Ascendant Spirit and kind of hope for the best with longer draws, maybe give myself more draw steps to hit Portable Hole. Um, but I decided to not do that, knowing that I could get punished if they had exactly Rattle Chains as their only card, and they did have Rattle Chains, so you know, sometimes it happens, right? Like our opponent kind of ended up being a little bit lucky with the Rattle Chains being the card there, but we have also been lucky in the past, so I'm not exactly mad about that. We knew the chances going into that turn cycle and simply lost the gamble. But with that said, we can see the incredible power of spirits, right? Like we got to fight against one of the most powerful combo decks twice, and our matchup against that style of deck is so good that we literally didn't even the sideboard. And the two matchups that we had were both really interesting and full of decisions with the spirit mirrors there. And even though we lost both, the circumstances were such that we totally could have won both. And, you know, that's kind of why I like playing this deck. It's just super fun, lots of decisions to be made. You do get some really free wins against some of the format's best decks. Like if we had played Mono Green is almost as free for us as the Greasefang deck is. But even when the matchups get hard, they're still fun and decision filled. So I am a little sad faced, but only about that mulligan to four at the very end. I think that given the chance to make Mono Blue have exactly Rattle Chains, I would probably do it again and simply lose again if they had the Rattle Chains. Against the Blue White deck, we tried our best to develop Shacklegeists and not let our opponents have theirs. And as we saw, the person who had the Shacklegeists, you know, got to control combat and do all of the hard work. Now, I did walk into the open Mutavault on the 5/5 Catilda. That was me. I did that. So I will confess to feeling a little dumb about that, but you know, it just kind of is what it is. If my Iganjo had maybe been, say, a Brazen Borrower's Petty Theft, for example, then that game goes a little bit differently, but it is what it is. Anyway, super fun gameplay, lots of interesting decisions, and I hope that a lot of you watching this will get the same experience when playing Spirits for yourselves. So that's going to be it for today, though. Lots of fun, and once again, I will continue building on this deck because it's just such a new fun experience every time I play it. It's been what, 4 years now, and it's still just like not getting old for me. But once again, that's going to be it for today. Again, enough talking. Haven't seen y'all in a bit, so I'm kind of ranting at this point. If you like what you saw, make sure to click like on the video. Let me know. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. I do love having more of y'all here. And until then, I'll see y'all on the next one.